Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you the best Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate guide, the best build, and the new meta. This video takes a look at the new Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 build. This build is actually identical to the build used in Monster Hunter Rise, and we will also analyze whether or not this build is meta or not. Alright, first we're going to start off with how to get Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3. So there are 3 pieces of armor you need to get Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3. These 3 pieces are the Mizutsune mail, Vambraces, and the Greaves. So you need the Mizutsune mail, the Vambraces, and again, the Greaves. You must also upgrade all the armor pieces to grade 6. By upgrading them to grade 6, you'll either unlock the second skill or upgrade them to level 2, which you need for, I believe, the mail as well as the Greaves. But what is the cost to upgrade Mizutsune armor to grade 6? Well, here are the material requirements needed to upgrade Mizutsune armor to grade 6. Luckily, Mizutsune armor starts off at grade 5, so it does not take many materials to upgrade them to grade 6. As you see right here, it's not a lot of materials, and you need to slay approximately 48 7-star Mizutsune to get all the materials you need to grade 6, because all 3 pieces of Mizutsune armor require grade 6 for Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3. Now that we covered the cost, here is the best Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate build. This build uses the Koro Puke Puke Helm to provide lock-on. In addition, Weakness Exploit level 2 and Critical Eye level 2 give you 40% affinity when you attack weak spots. Bubbly Dance level 3 is maxed out and allows you to activate Bubble Blight with 3 dodges in any direction. So you have to dodge 3 times in order to activate. I'm going to show you an example just to you see a visual of it. And it will require you to dodge again, depending on when you activate, etc., in order to keep it active. So again, 3 dodges and then 1 roll usually will keep it active after that. And that brings us to Resuscitate level 3, which provides 20% extra damage to all attacks as long as Bubble Blight is active. So activate Bubble Blight, then you get that 20% damage boost. However, there is a catch. Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate can't be used with ranged weapons, and here's an analysis. So a huge con of the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate build is it's only for melee users. You can't do this entire build with bows or light bowguns, because bows and light bowguns have their own requirements to maximize their DPS. Bows need focus level 4 or 5 for maximum damage, and you can't do that with the Bubbly Dance Resuscitate 3 build. In addition, light bowguns need reload speed level 3 and recoil down level 3 for maximum damage. You can't fit the 3 pieces for any light bowgun build as well, so it is factually impossible to have all 3 of these and then max out DPS. So again, the first big con of the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate level 3 build, you can't use it with ranged. No matter what combination you put together, you can't put everything like right here, and don't even think about drift smelting. Not even only are those skills not available, but we're going to cover that later on in this video. Moving on, here's a live hunt on how to use Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 live hunt versus Mizutsune. Activate Bubbly Dance level 3 by dodging 3 times in any direction, just like you saw right here, and this will also activate Resuscitate level 3. This will cause your dodges to be slippery, so it can take some getting used to. Like you saw right there, these are my first few battles using this and trying to test this out, so I got hit. Bubble Blight is impermanent though. You must dodge sometimes to keep it active. You'll see it deactivate at one point during this battle, right before I use my special skill. So again, sometimes you'll have to dodge in order to keep it active. The slippery movement can work for you in terms of dodging, however, it can work against you when you're trying to attack weak spots. You saw some of the dodges I do right here, trying to dodge with Mizutsune and trying to get to that head for that weak spot. Again, it can work against you when you attack weak spots. And this build's movement does not make you invincible, nor does it make perfect dodges easier. In fact, it can mess up your rhythm once you start using melee without it. So be very aware, you're not invincible. There's no increased iframes or whatever, you can still get hit. So keep that in mind. You are not invincible. Next up, we have another example, Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 versus Burst level 5 versus Kulu-Ya-Ku. Here we compare the Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 build versus Burst level 5, which is the meta for Raw. For this example, my Pink Rathian Longsword is grade 7.5. Here we are using Kulu-Ya-Ku 6-star as an example. And as you see in this conclusion of this battle, Burst level 5 finished in 28 seconds, while Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 finished in 31 seconds. So Burst outperformed Bubbly Dance despite activating late. So I actually activated Burst late because of a few misses, and we will take a look at data comparisons later in this video. So there's actually a reason why Burst 5 beat Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 despite activating late in battle. Up next, we have a lot of data to cover. So first we have the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate meta-analysis versus Elemental Attack level 5 at grade 10.5 max. So here we compare grade 10.5 weapons maxed out as far as Elemental Attack level 5 goes, and per the data, the best Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 build beats out 4 of the 5 Elemental best builds. So 4 out of 5, basically nearly all of them. However, it does not beat out Thunder Elemental because the Thunder Elemental build has Burst with it. In addition, the damage difference is hardly noticeable. It's 1% difference for Fire, Ice, Water, and 3% difference for Dragon. So you're like, probably thinking, King of Charmanders, why don't you like this a lot? Well, there's going to be a lot of evidence. In fact, this will be the only time that this actually beats pretty much anything. It's 4 out of 5 elements, and again, it doesn't beat Thunder, but there's a lot of justification of how Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate level 3 is factually not meta. Up next, we have the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate meta-analysis versus Elemental Attack level 5, lower grades 5 through 10. So here we compare Elemental grade 5 through 10 weapons. Per the data, Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 loses to Elemental Attack level 5 in every grade level from grade 5 to grade 10. You know what sucks about this? There's some poor souls out there being fed misinformation that early on you should build this, even though the data strictly says you shouldn't do that. This is because in order for percentages to affect damage, the damage must be high to begin with. If we look at the lowest at grade 5, it's a whooping 35%. You go to grade 6, it's 28, and to grade 7, it's 20. It slowly gets better, but at the start, it's actually really bad. So, the fact of the matter is, this means it's a terrible idea for any newer player to use the Bubbly Dance level 3 build and Resuscitate level 3 build. It factually is worse for a majority of your journey. The only time it beats out the 4 elements I mentioned before is at maximum, and it barely beats it. So you're going to tell newer players to invest in something that's actually factually not meta. But the Bubbly Dance is meta, right? No, it's not. This is a big reason why this thing isn't meta, and there's even more evidence coming up next. Moving on, now that we covered Elemental, here we have Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate meta-analysis versus Burst level 5 grade 10.5 max. So here we compare raw grade 10.5 weapons maxed out. Per the data, the best Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 build loses to Burst level 5. For good reason. Burst level 5 gives you 30%. And Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate level 3 give you 20%. But despite all the extra affinity you get with the Resuscitate Bubbly Dance build, it still loses to Burst level 5 even though you don't cancel out or potentially cancel out the negative 30% affinity because we're using Black Diablos dual blades for this example. Again, for this example, we are using Black Diablos dual blades grade 10.5. Heck, it will even lose to the Critical Eye level 2 version of Burst level 5. So right here, it's 3% better. You put Critical Eye 2, 2% better. So even when you have that solid affinity boost. This is because, again, Burst level 5 provides 30% damage versus the 20% of Resuscitate. So it's going to beats Elemental for 4 elements, except for Thunder, but it loses out, straight out loses to Raw at max grade 10.5. And now that we covered max, how about Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate meta-analysis versus Raw level 5, lower grades 5 through 10. Here we compare Raw grade 5 through 10 weapons. Per the data, Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 loses to Burst level 5 in every grade level from grade 5 to 10. In other words, it loses to everything. If we take a look at the bottom of the tree, yeah, it's barely better Burst level 5, but it progressively gets worse as you go up. Burst level 5 provides a higher percentage despite the fact that Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 gives 20%. 30% versus 20%. You do the math. This means it's a terrible idea for any player to use the Bubbly Dance level 3 build and Resuscitate level 3 build when using Raw. It's factually worse for everything Raw. So, for those of you enthusiasts, are you still thinking Bubbly Dance is meta? And if we thought that wasn't enough, well, how about the most powerful weapons in the game? Here we have Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate meta-analysis versus the Black Diablos bow. Here we compare grade 10.5 weapons maxed out. So if the Bubbly Dance build is meta, it should beat the most powerful raw weapon in the game, right? Even without Bubbly Dance. Well, here's the thing. The best back Diablos bow build, Focus level 5 and Burst level 3, clearly beats out the Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 build, even when used against an elemental weakness. The Black Diablos bow is one of 2 current super weapons in Monster Hunter now. You're not gonna beat it with a gimmicky build. And even at lower grades, as you see right here, Black Diablos bow is still the king of raw. There is no justification as why a player shouldn't go after the Black Diablos bow and use the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate build instead. If you can go after the Black Diablos bow, one of the hardest weapons in the game to get because Black Diablos is hard to destroy and hunt and can only be hunted during events, there is no universe where I will not tell a player, a beginner, or anyone that you shouldn't put all the time and effort into getting this one weapon, and it will serve you well. In fact, it's almost been a year since Monster Hunter Now released, and that super weapon is still the king of raw. But how about the other super weapon? Because there's the Black Diablos bow, but there's also another. Here's Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate meta-analysis versus the Kushala Daora bow. Here we compare grade 10.5 weapons maxed out. So if the Bubbly Dance build is meta, it should beat the most powerful elemental weapon in the game, right? The best Kushala Daora bow build, Focus level 5, Kushala Frostwind level 3, and Weakness Exploit level 1, clearly beats out the Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 build, even when used against an elemental weakness. It literally blows through it at 21%. Even at lower grades, Kushala bow is the king of ice. You will never beat the super weapons with this gimmicky build. There is no justification as why a player shouldn't go after Kushala Daora and use the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate build instead. That's a whole lot of damage. And if you're gonna go after one of the most powerful weapons, well, guess what? It's not that build, it's this thing called the Kushala Daora bow, and it's extremely powerful. And now that we have all that data, here's an overview of Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 being meta. Here's the pros for the meta. Melee Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate level 3 build barely beats out Elemental Attack 5 in grade 10.5 for Fire, Water, Ice, and Dragon. So that's the only pro. Here's the cons against it being meta. It can't be used with ranged weapons. The Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 does not beat out grade 10.5 for Thunder. It only beats 4 elements, not 5, and it doesn't beat out Thunder. Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 does not beat out Burst level 5 for all grades in terms of Raw. So nothing says it's meta for Raw. Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 does not beat out Elemental Attack level 5 from grades 5 all the way to grade 10. So at lower levels, it loses to every single Elemental Attack level 5. In addition, it does not beat the meta, which is the super weapons, the Black Diablos bow and Kushala Daora bow. Those 2 weapons still blow this thing out of the water, even when you take an elemental weakness into account. So here's the verdict. Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 is not meta. It has too many cons. When I first looked at this, I was like, is this a gimmick or is it something really good? So I took a look at everything, and within 2 minutes, I could already determine that this thing was bad. But I did even more research, and this thing is even worse. In gaming, meta has multiple meanings. Here's an AI overview from Google. An acronym used to describe a strategy that's generally agreed upon by the game community as the best way to win or perform well in a specific task. For example, in competitive chess, hyper-modern openings are well-defined meta that became popular after World War I. So, what is the meta? The Black Diablos bow and the Kushala Daora bow. Guess what? I have both of those. Actually, the other one I have 10.4, but I'm literally one Daora Horn Rarity 6 away from getting it to 10.5. As someone that uses meta and has meta, and the only content creator with the two said meta weapons, well, almost the other one, but yeah, you get my drift, I can attest and compare just how powerful those weapons are compared to this. This is just a cool gimmick. It can mess up your mechanics, and it's not going to be great in the future. More on that later, but it's pretty clear. This build is not meta. No matter what you say, there's no convincing. In fact, you should never tell a newer player to use this thing because it factually does not beat out Elemental Attack level 5. And that's exactly my face when I saw this trash. It's not absolute trash, but it's definitely not meta. In addition, here's a warning. Drift smelting into the Mizutsune armor. It's funny because I had some troll that was like, drift smelting is so easy. You can drift smelt into this build and be like, whoa, hold on here. Here are the probability of getting what you want if you drift smelt. So I was right before. There is some kind of hidden variable for the top skills because it's 3.3% for the top skills. And it's 5% for everything else. This is from mhn.quest, and this is accurate data. And as someone that's drift smelted over 300 times, 301 to be exact, with 2 full drift smelt builds and some included into it, it's a whole lot. Nothing's easy about it. You're either going to spend money or walk a ridiculous amount of time, etc., and you're praying to RNGesus that you are blessed. And get blessed with the skill you want. There is nothing easy about drift smelting. If you say drift smelting is easy, either 1, you're lucky, or 2, you have no idea what you're talking about. It's likely number 2, because anybody with experience drift smelting will tell you it is hard. I consider myself way lucky than most. Here's the armor grade required to drift smelt for Bubbly Dance gear. The Mizutsune Mail, for grade 5 for your slot 1, and at grade 8 for your second slot. So it's not just grade 6. You have to go further if you want to get these and unlock their drift smelt slots. The Mizutsune Mail has 2 slots. For the Mizutsune Van Braces, it only has 1 slot, where at grade 5 you get 1 slot. And for the Mizutsune Greaves, at grade 8 you get 1 slot. So for grade 8 you will get 1 slot. Again, as someone with over 300 drift smelts and 2 full drift smelt builds, it is extremely time and resource consuming. Unless something is proven to be meta, you shouldn't just drift smelt into anything. You are going to drift smelt into something that could not be meta in the future. In fact, I'm going to dig into that in the next slide for the closing. But yeah, this is just something really gimmicky. Nothing is easy about drift smelting. So for all of you saying drift smelting is easy, or if you have no experience, stop trying to give advice on it. It's really hard, okay? It is really hard. Someone that spent a lot of money and time drift smelting into things, it's a lot. Like I mentioned, I feel like I'm luckier than most, but hopefully you don't have to take 300 drift smelts to get 2 full drift smelt builds. It takes you a lot less than it did for me. In closing, hopefully this video helps you with whether or not you want to invest in the Mizutsune Bubbly Dance level 3 and Resuscitate level 3 build. Don't get me wrong, it's good against Mizutsune, it's good to have a little bit of fun. However, this build can mess up your movement mechanics unless you practice with it a lot. Beginner players, as justified by the damage, should not be using this. Even if you're an expert player, even if you're really good with your thing, again, this is really great to have fun. But in the long run, looking at future data, something better is coming in the future. However, I can't say anything as a Capcom creator. I do a whole lot of research. So if something is meta, I really want to make sure that something is meta. Again, as a Capcom creator, I can't say anything about leaks. I'm not going to do it. I like my job. I like and Niantic watches my content. 1, I would never spoof. 2, I'm going to follow the rules because I like my job. Well, it's technically not my job. It's something I'm interested in. But if I'm going to promote this game to the best it could possibly be, it's definitely not good to break your relationships with very, very important and valuable, like, connections. Yeah. You should always look at everything before investing into anything. This build clearly isn't meta, it's just a gimmick. Of course, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, you know, something really cool, something really new. Honestly, I think people are just looking for something new. That's why they're really like, oh my gosh, it's great. As an analyst, though, especially for Pokemon Go PvP and breaking the meta for Season 1 Go Battle League, I had to look at everything. Before I call something meta, I have to look at everything. I predicted a long time ago that Black Diablos bow would be king for a very long time. Here we are 9 months later, and it's still the king of Raw. Again, look at everything, especially future, etc. Look at all the data you can so that you can properly put your resources and time into something worth it. With that being said, please do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe, and comment to YouTube algorithm, as you see a whole lot of time and data was put into this. And I hope you guys are getting all the best drops, etc. And again, your drift smelts are you're getting there fast. You're not taking 300 like I did for 2 full drift smelt builds. Good luck on your grinds. Hopefully you're going to have fun with the Mizutsune event and the paid ticket event if you have it. And I will see y'all on the next video.